The image presents the binary tree postorder traversal problem. The input is a reference called root, which is either the root node of a binary tree or no. The required output is a list containing every node value in postorder. The code shown uses an iterative method rather than recursion, so our main task is to derive how a stack and a last visited marker reproduce the required traversal order. Let the tree be T with root R. Each node V stores a value, a left child reference, and a right child reference. Either child reference may be null, so the tree may be unbalanced. The number of nodes satisfies 1 less than or equal to n less than or equal to 100. Therefore, we must handle a single node, long one-sided branches, and ordinary branching trees without assuming that both children exist. For a node V, define P of V as the postorder sequence of the subtree rooted at V. The recursive definition is P of null equals the empty list. For a non-null node V, P of V equals P of V dot left, followed by P of V dot right, followed by the one-element list containing V dot value. This definition establishes the strict order, left subtree first, right subtree second, and parent last. Recursion remembers unfinished parent calls automatically, but iteration must store those parents explicitly. When traversal moves from a node to its left child, the parent cannot yet be output because its right subtree may remain unvisited. We therefore push the parent onto a stack. The top of the stack is the nearest unfinished ancestor, exactly matching the most recent recursive call that would still be waiting to complete. The algorithm maintains 4 state variables. The list result contains nodes already completed in valid postorder. The stack contains ancestors whose output must wait. The pointer current identifies the next subtree to descend into. Finally, last visited identifies the most recently completed node. At every loop boundary, a stacked node may be processed only if its left side is complete and its right side is either absent or is exactly the subtree that has just been completed. Now trace the first illustrated tree. Node 1 has no left child and has right child 2, node 2 has left child 3 and no right child. Initially, result is the empty list, stack is the empty list, current equals node 1, and last visited equals null. Since current is not null, the loop begins with the left descent branch. The current node is 1, so the descent rule pushes node 1 onto the stack. The stack changes from the empty list to the list containing 1. The same rule then assigns current to node 1's left child. Because node 1 has no left child, current becomes null. No value enters result, because node 1's right subtree has not yet been completed. Current is now null, so the algorithm inspects the stack top without removing it. The peaked node is 1. Its right child exists and equals node 2. Also, last visited is null, which is not node 2. Therefore, the right subtree has not been completed. Applying the right subtree rule, we assign current equal to node 2 while leaving node 1 on the stack. Current now equals node 2, so the algorithm again applies the descent rule. First, it pushes node 2. The stack changes from 1 to 1 followed by 2, with node 2 on top. Next, current is assigned node 2's left child. That child is node 3, so the new state is current equals 3, stack equals 1, 2, and result remains empty. Because current equals node 3, the descent rule pushes node 3 onto the stack. The stack becomes 1, 2, 3. The algorithm then assigns current to node 3's left child. Node 3 has no left child, so current becomes null. Node 3 is still not output during this step, because the processing decision is made only after the descent reaches null. With current null, the algorithm peaks at node 3. Node 3 has no right child, so there is no unvisited right subtree that could delay its output. The processing rule therefore appends 3 to result, changing result from the empty list to the list containing 3. It then pops node 3 and assigns last visited to that popped node. The stack becomes 1, 2. Current remains null, so the new stack top is node 2. Node 2 has no right child. Consequently, both required portions of node 2's subtree are complete, its left subtree produced 3, and its right subtree is empty. The algorithm appends 2, changing result from 3 to 3, 2. It pops node 2, sets last visited to node 2, and leaves stack containing only node 1. The stack top is now node 1. Its right child exists and is node 2, but last visited is also node 2. This identity match proves that node 1's right subtree has already been completed. Therefore, the algorithm must not enter node 2 again. It appends 1, changing result from 3, 2 to 3, 2, 1, then pops node 1 and sets last visited to node 1. After processing node 1, current is null and the stack is empty. The loop condition is current is not null or the stack is not empty. Both parts are now false, so false or false equals false, and the loop terminates. The returned list is 3, 2, 1. This agrees exactly with left-right root order for the illustrated tree. Now verify the larger tree using the recursive postorder definition. Node 5 has left child 6 and right child 7. Since both children are leaves, p of 6 equals 6 and p of 7 equals 7. Substituting these sequences into p of 5 equals p of 6 followed by p of 7 followed by 5 gives p of 5 equal to 6, 7, 5. Node 2 has left child 4 and right child 5. The leaf rule gives p of 4 equal to the list containing 4, while the previous step gives p of 5 equal to 6, 7, 5. Substituting into the recurrence, p of 2 equals 4 followed by 6, 7, 5 followed by 2. Concatenating in that order gives 4, 6, 7, 5, 2. On the right side, node 8 has left child 9 and no right child. Therefore, p of 8 equals 9 followed by 8. Node 3 has no left child and has right child 8. Substituting the empty left sequence and p of 8 into the recurrence gives p of 3 equal to the empty list followed by 9, 8 followed by 3, which is 9, 8, 3. The root is node 1, with left subtree rooted at 2 and right subtree rooted at 3. We have p of 2 equal to 4, 6, 7, 5, 2, and p of 3 equal to 9, 8, 3. Substituting into the root recurrence gives p of 1 equal to those two sequences followed by 1. Thus the complete output is 4, 6, 7, 5, 2, 9, 8, 3, 1. 3 mistakes are especially common. First, appending a node when it is pushed produces preorder, not postorder. Second, popping immediately after the left side finishes can process a parent before its right subtree. Third, last visited must be compared with the right child node itself, not merely with its value. Different nodes may store equal values, so value equality does not prove that the correct subtree was completed. Each node is pushed onto the stack exactly once and popped exactly once. A push, a peek, a comparison, an append, and a pop each require constant time. Therefore, the total running time is proportional to the number of nodes, giving O of n time. The stack stores at most one root-to-leaf chain at once, so its auxiliary space is O of h, where h is the tree height. The iterative solution is therefore correct because it outputs a stacked node only after its left and right subtrees are complete. For an empty tree, current is null and the stack is empty immediately, so the result is the empty list. For a single node, the node is pushed, then popped and appended, producing its one value. The key technique is the last visited marker, which distinguishes an unvisited right subtree from a completed one.